Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 8. This week, we're going to talk about chapter 9. Chapter 9 has basically two parts, unemployment and inflation. So we're focused on unemployment in the first part, and then we're going to see basically how we can define inflation rate, how we can calculate inflation rate. In the first part, we're going to learn basically how the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is a huge institution in United States, is also in charge of collecting, calculating, and reporting all the data and statistics about unemployment rate, inflation rate, CPI, and whatnot, can basically collect all this information, how the Bureau of Labor Statistics can basically calculate unemployment rate. And if you go to their website, you will see that they report all this information every single month. So that's a huge job that they have. We're also going to follow basically the definition of unemployed, employed, unemployment rate that the Bureau of Labor Statistics basically uses. In other countries. They might have different definitions and different ways of calculating unemployment rate, but we're going to stick to what United States actually uses and what the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS, basically does. You can Google BLS. You can get all information about unemployment rate, as I mentioned, by category, even like what is unemployment rate among female, male, depending on the race, urban area, rural area. So all the information basically is on their website. Same thing applies for inflation rate. So they do this survey, as you will find out in the lecture notes. They have this population survey that they do every single month. They look into the information that they collect from close to 2,000 households and use that information to calculate the unemployment rate. So you need to know all the definitions like employed, unemployed, current population survey, what we mean by labor force, how we calculate unemployment rate. We have different types of unemployment, so pay attention to the definition of those, the examples. The second part is about inflation rate. You will see basically how we use the CPI, or Consumer Price Index, to calculate inflation rate in this chapter. So pay attention to how we define Consumer Price Index. I have different videos, so I'm not going to spend that much time talking about them here, but I'm just trying to point out important information. The most important application of the CPI that I'm talking about is calculating inflation rate. So inflation rate is nothing but the percentage change in price from one year to another. So pay attention to the formula. Again, you can have all the formulas in front of you when you are taking the final exam, no problem. Just make sure how to use them. We have also formula for unemployment rate, another important formula, inflation rate. So two important ones that we have here. We also have a formula for CPI. I don't want you to memorize that. CPI will be given to you at the time of the test when you want to calculate the inflation rate. Also, we have important terminologies like hyperinflation, deflation, that I want you guys to also pay attention to. Obviously, we have a homework for this chapter, but again, make sure you know all the definitions and make sure you know how to use the formulas here, okay? So for instance, how we define unemployed is very, very important. Unemployed is not only a person who doesn't have a job, but that person should actively look for the job, okay? That's very important, because if that person is not looking for a job, we label them as discouraged workers, and discouraged workers are not part of the calculation when we are calculating the unemployment rate. What else? So another important thing that you need to know is for unemployment part is what we mean by labor force. So inside the labor force, you can have the population that are unemployed and they are employed. That sometimes causes a confusion, but I did a separate video, so definitely make sure that you look into that video where I'm basically telling you how the Bureau of Labor Statistics divides this and uses the information in the survey that they have every single month, how they break it down. Basically, they are just interested in the population of 16 years old and older, and from that population they have basically some people who are in the labor force and a group of people who are not in the labor force. Okay, so make sure that you look at that video. You kind of know how the Bureau of Labor Statistics uses all the information that they gather from us, from all the households. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Just look into the notes. Let me know if you have any question from this chapter, and till next time.